Writing in the science classroom. First, let's look at an example of writing to learn from Fisher and Frey's scaffolding writing instruction. Ms. Allen wants her students to write a character analysis as a culminating activity. She asks Tino, "How has Marty changed since we first met him in Chapter 1? In response, Tino answers, "I don't know yet. I haven't written in my journal." This quote illustrates the idea that students construct meaning while they write. They are not just recording their thoughts, they are creating their thoughts. In other words, writing is a way to encourage thinking. This is why we love writing in the science classroom. Writing is key for bilingual learners. They need to gain proficiency in 4 language domains: speaking, writing, reading, and listening. Reading and listening are the receptive domains. These help students acquire language. Speaking and writing are the expressive domains. These are ways students demonstrate their acquisition of English. For many bilingual learners, it is challenging to reach proficiency in writing in English. They need many opportunities to practice writing. What comes to mind when you hear science writing? I am guessing science notebooks, lab reports, explanations, descriptions, arguments, procedures. We will spend time learning about these types of science writing throughout the module. We are going to stretch our brains in terms of science writing in this module. When I ask about science writing, did you think of poems, recipes, stories, quick writes, riddles? We are going to look at 2 unconventional ways to engage students in science writing. The first, Raft, role, audience, format, topic. The second way, generative writing. Here is an example of a Raft activity. You start out by making a chart. The first column is role, which tells you which point of view you will be using in the writing. We are going to use an astronomy example. The second column is audience, who you are writing for. In this case, the supergiant star is writing for the younger stars. The moon is going to write to the astronauts, and so on. The third column is format. This is what type of writing you will produce. This is the fun part. There are so many creative options here. You can see dialogue, advice column, letter of concern, motivational speaker. And the last column is topic, what you will write about. Students choose one of the options as a writing activity. With a Raft activity, students need to apply their content knowledge, which is ideal. You can make a raft for any activity, so you can make a raft for electricity later on. Let's try out generative writing. This may test your English grammar knowledge. First, write an imperative using the word electricity. If you remember, an imperative is an order. Here is my example: stop wasting electricity. Here is another example. Ask a question using the word insulator. Here is my example. What makes something a really good insulator? Last example. Write a sentence at least 10 words in length using the words wire and open circuit. Here is my example. To make an open circuit, the wire must not connect. Generative sentence writing activities combine teaching a grammar or style lesson with content instruction. For example, you would be reminding your students what an imperative is, or reminding them about the structure of writing a question. It is easy to routinely integrate this with your content instruction or your language art instruction. It encourages the use of science vocabulary and science talk. You will have more opportunity to practice generative sentence writing in the Make It Work section. Keep in mind, how can I connect these writing activities to the cultural and linguistic backgrounds of my students? Next, in Make It Work, you will read more about Raft and generative writing, and then apply to your classroom.